Hello everyone and welcome to the CEW podcast. I, as always, am Byron. And this is going to be a very interesting video, a very interesting edition of the podcast. I did say I was going to do this one on a live stream, and I feel like it's very important because I hear a lot of people going, well, Byron, how has this all happened, right? And I can't even tell you myself how the growth of the channel over the last year has happened, but I do know what I've done and what I think works. But before we get on to that, life updates, let me grab something real quick. Hold on a moment. We got the scroll! That's right! Officially graduated now. I have the scroll. Obviously, I graduated back in, when I get my results, September or something. I can't remember when I got my results. I think it was July, August. I think it was July, August, actually. Hold on. But either way, I now have the scroll. I had my graduation ceremony. I did the little walk. Yeah, it was a fun time, right? And that was a really, really cool day. Got to just chill. Got to hang out with some cool friends who I went on the journey with. And yeah, man, super, super excited for what comes next. I'm still on the hunt for a job regardless of its editor or whatnot. Life is still kind of busy, but life's looking up, man, and that's all you can really say. But let's get into the meat and potatoes of this podcast, which is, it's been roughly about a year since I decided, during a random waiting for a university lesson, me and a friend were talking, and we was like, hey, I should start locking in, man. And yeah, it's been about a year since then. At time of recording it is the 6th of November. And yeah, I kind of want to take you through the journey of look at my analytics before, look at my analytics now, and what happens when you lock in. Because I'm no Superman, I'm no Miracle Man. I don't think I'm any different to anybody else who makes core content, and I'm gonna keep it real with you, right? I just had the vision in my mind of wanting to do more and wanting to be bigger and better than where I was a year ago. And looking at it now, the channel has grown so much, right? There are always going to be dry spells where I'm trying to figure out still what we're doing. It's still an experimental process, but we're getting there slowly but surely, day by day, video by video, success after success, failure after failure. You have to break a few eggs to make an omelette, and that's exactly what I'm doing with this channel, So I think it's time that we get into what you guys want to see, which is the analytics. I know, ooh, scary analytics. I've got to make sure I don't leak anything, so I've got to be very careful on the edit, but I've currently got the analytics here from the 7th of April, which I don't even think is when I started, but I think it's when the channel was first created. The 19th of April was when things all began, and since then, we've gone through a lot. Now, as you can see here, the analytics are pretty stagnant for most of the time, right? You'll see it here at the beginning. Very slim pickings, right? Really, really small numbers. But we started to grow slowly but surely, man. I refuse to give up, and I think that's probably one of the biggest things I can tell anyone who wants to do YouTube, whether it's for fun, or maybe you want to turn it into something bigger, and maybe you want to start making money from it. It's just to not give up. If you believe in this enough, and you just give it enough time and enough dedication, and you figure out what works, and you work on what works, and sometimes you do videos that maybe you're like, I don't know if I should still do it anyway. I'll tell you about my my golden goose, my most viewed video momentarily, but even if you don't think an idea is good, or if a video isn't good, just do it anyway. You'll surprise yourself on what it will do, right? Because either it's not gonna work, and that future videos like that aren't gonna work, or you find yourself finding those videos that blow up. Now, as you can see, obviously we did all right. We're going through sort of the errors, i.e., probably around what around here was sort of the universe mode. This would have been around about Beef and Mania. This was when Retro came in. As you can see here, when we get to sort of the Retro era, the views just start going up and up and up, right? We've got a bit of a downswing every now and then, but things start picking up exponentially, and it's around about this sort of time here where I'm starting to do more and more videos, and it's around about sort of 2023 where I'm like, shit, I can make this something, you know, like it's not going to be easy, and God knows it's never going to be easy, but I made it work. I feel like I've done quite well, and I always wanted to, you know, I've always said I want to be a self-made man, essentially, right? Like, I want to be able to make my own money, and I want to be able to make my own choices in life, and maybe the network's never going to get to the point where it's going to financially, you know, support me all the way. Maybe that's not the case, right? Maybe that's just never going to happen. But I want to at least be able to make some sort of money from this channel. I mean, I've put in 6 years of my life into CEW. I've put 5 years of my life into this channel. And, you know, I want to be able to get something back from it. So it was around about that sort of time where I was like, if I'm going to do this, I've got to do this properly, right? Because I'm going to get to the point where I leave university and I've got to find a job. And if I'm putting in, like, ridiculous hours, you know, there are weeks where I'm putting in, where I was at one point putting in about 70, 80 hours a week into making CEW what it is. And that's the crazy thing, right? It's like, you know, those weeks where I put out like 3-4 videos. Those weeks are nightmarish, and I have other projects now, right? Like, I'm not going to tell you what they are, but I do have other projects around that do take up a lot of my time as well, right? And obviously I'm looking for a job, so, you know, the realization kind of sunk in of, okay, if I want to keep doing this, then I've got to make this better than what it is. And so it started simple. As you can see here, right, towards the end of the year, or the end of the month, I started doing shorts, and look at this. 4 videos, as opposed to like one here, one here, one here, and one here, right? Like, and suddenly, obviously that was because this video did insanely well, but you can see here, these shorts did really, really well. And, you know, that wasn't through knowing what was going to work. That wasn't even through figuring out what works, right? That was just me going on CapCut, making a couple shorts, and just getting them out. Just trying to figure out what works. And in that small time frame, 41 subscribers, right? And most of those obviously come from that open challenge night video, which did really, really well. But you can't sit there and take those shorts for granted, because then if we go into sort of like the last year, this is everything, right? 414% more views than we got this time last year, which is insane. 103% more watch time than we got last year. And then 147% more subs. This is proof. And I want this, this isn't me flexing, okay? I want this to be known, that this isn't me flexing my analytics to anybody, okay? I don't want people sitting there with their core feds or their 2K channels going, I don't get those numbers. Why are you flexing? I'm not. I'm showing you that if you come up with new avenues, new content, maybe even new ways to just present your core show, eventually you will find the formula that works for you. Because core is so niche, right? You've got to remember, it goes wrestling, wrestling games, core universe modes, or universe modes, then core universe modes. And then there's probably CEW, if we're being completely honest, right, with how I run things. So I always knew that I had to branch out. And in this last year, if we look at some of the most successful videos I've done over the past year in terms of like how they did, the problem with WWE entrance themes, the golden goose of my content this year is easily this video. 8,000 views. Which is something that I didn't even think I could do, right? I just sat here and I ranted about Death Rebel. Nothing out of the ordinary, nothing wild, right? It's just me sat there watching we're not watching, but talking about Death Rebel. And I want you to look at just how well this video alone did, right? I want to talk about how, you know, I talked about how when I started implementing shorts, we had an increase in 41 subscribers in sort of like a month period. This video alone almost did that. And like, audience retention is surprisingly good. Like, the fact that it reached 127,000 people, or at least came into people's, you know, pages 127,000 times. I just want to let people know, because again, I get it all the time, right? And it's either, how do I get onto the show? How do I make my cause good? And then people always ask me, how do I make content? And it's really simple, right? I'm just a man who just does goofy shit on the internet. Right? That's my thing, okay? I just sit here and I rant when it comes to video. I just ramble for 20, 30, 40 minutes. I do commentary. I run a whole course show. But a lot of the time, the videos that do well for me are ones where I'm just sat here ranting in front of the camera. Like, if we have a look at my most viewed videos, like, ever. Let me move my camera once again. You will see. Let me move myself up just a little bit. Ooh, hello there. You know, a lot of them are course shows, right? Fight Forever, Retro Episode 1, Kingdom of Glory Night 1. But then we've also got the Undisputed Kingdom video, Invictus. Then we've got two 2K24 videos. But well, that one got absolutely disliked to hell. But you know what? It is what it is. It helped with the engagement. Look at that. It got really high up there. You know, 2K24 has been a little bit of a cash cow for me. I'm not going to lie, right? Like, I don't like the game, but it's definitely helped create this narrative that I don't like 2K24, right? And I don't like how 2K does stuff. And here's the thing, right? I feel like it's not even that myself. Core in general has taken a massive hit from where it once was in 2020, right? Can we all just admit this? It could be 2K20 itself, it could be the pandemic, it could be all of that. But core is not where it once was 4 years ago, and that's just the honest truth, okay? It's the big dogs and it's everybody else, and that is just a fact, right? It is very difficult, especially with how the community is and with how many people in the community, and I'm just going to be completely brutally honest, with the amount of people in the community who are actual fucking scumbags and get outed for the most disgusting shit. You know, there's going to come a time where people are going to go, I don't want to be associated with anything regarding this, right? But if you can get people who have never looked at core a day in their life to come onto your channel and just view you as a person, as a brand, as a channel, however they view you. If you can do that, you can remove any sort of pre-existing notions about core and just make it focused on what do you deliver. You've got to stop looking at things as I have to do core. Right? A lot of people fall into this trap where they're like, oh, I only get views when I do core content, but you're playing like 20 different games on your channel. And like, I understand people want to be like, I want to be variety. I don't want to just be a core guy. I don't want to just be a core guy. I'm not just a core guy anymore. Look at this, right? Like, wrestling, 2K videos. This isn't core. This is just me talking about 2K. 2K, right? Like 2K. Sure, a lot of my, like Joe Hendry, wrestling hot takes. You know, you can do so much still within the wrestling niche. You just have to bet on yourself, man. You just have to believe in yourself, because nobody else is going to believe in you when you first do this, right? Nobody else is going to sit there and they're going to say, you can do this. Because nobody knows that you're doing this, right? A lot of people, when they make channels, they don't tell their friends and family because they're embarrassed because they don't have like, they have like 10 subscribers, right? I don't want you to feel embarrassed. I want you to believe in yourself, believe in your passion, and believe that you can go far, because I didn't think I was going to get this far in this year. I didn't think I was going to get 400 subscribers this year, but I've done it. I've gotten over 1,000 subscribers now, and that's like the greatest thing ever. I graduated this year from university. I have put my nose to the grindstone 365 days out of the year, basically, at this point, right? Every single, like, essentially every single waking hour of my life at one point was dedicated to just how can I move things forward? How can I make the content not just, like, how can I not just make more content? How can I make the content I'm making better? And how can I produce more content? I need you to realize that if you want to be big, or if you just want to have an impact in the circle that you're in, you have to put in the work, right? And I'm sure if you go, I can't make thumbnails, I'm sure you know someone that has Photoshop or is good at Photoshop. It might be a little bit more trickier if you don't know how to edit. Luckily, I'm now a degree level editor, so, you know, that's pretty easy for me, and I've been a fan of editing for what feels like the last, like, 11 years, maybe even earlier than that, right? I've still got, like, old home videos that I edited myself when I was, like 8, 9 on, like, Windows Movie Maker. Like, I have always wanted to do this. This has been my passion, and when nobody else believed that I could do this, and when nobody knew that I was doing this, I did it, right? Like, it was always that kind of thing in secondary school, where if you had a YouTube channel, and it was seen as even the slightest bit cringe, people would rag on you. So guess what I did? I told nobody. People found it, though. People found it, right? I told nobody except maybe like 1 or 2 people. And naturally, that will always get around. And eventually, it just got to the point where I just stopped caring, and I just said, I'm just going to do this. I'm just going to have fun with this. And you can tell, right? If you go back and you listen to the commentary for, like, the first few videos I did, I just sat there. I was watching other YouTube videos in the background whilst I was commentating. Do you want to know why? Because I thought it was cringe to put the effort in to commentate. And now look at me, man. I'm screaming whenever somebody wins a belt. Because you've just gotta do what you want to do, man. You've just gotta put in the work. And trust me, like I said, I know there's so many people that are like, I don't know if this video is gonna work, or I don't know if this is gonna turn out great, right? And if you just do this as a hobby, which I still am, right? Like, I always speak about how I want to get those 4,000 hours of watch time, and I still do. Because then that means it no longer becomes a hobby, technically, right? Like, I'm still only going to be making, like, chump change, but it officially starts becoming a little bit more once you start bringing in a little bit of money. But, you know, if you're worried about something, just do it. Just do it. It's, like, the best advice I can give you, right? I can tell you the amount of videos I made this year that I am, like, not, the time I was like, I'm not happy with this, right? But I did it. And I made the videos. And some blew up. Some didn't. I did a Will Shane McMahon join AEW, which I thought, oh, that would do well. And it's probably one of my worst performing videos this year. You know, you can't expect everything to be a success, and you can't worry about everything being a failure. You've just got to learn what works, what doesn't, and move on, man. You can't be weighed down by one decision, because if you do, then you're never going to make the gambles and the risks that are going to lead potentially to bigger and better things, right? Like, you know, I sound all, like, philosophical, but I'm really just kind of trying to tell you guys that, you know, I never thought that I could get to this level. I didn't, right? And I still, to this day, question how the hell I have over 1,000 subscribers. But at one point, like, at some point, I had to sit there and I had to realize that this was through me just getting back up and just doing it, man. Right? Like, I don't sit here and pretend like I'm the almighty core guy or I'm the almighty YouTube guy, because I'm not, right? I'm just a guy who streams every now and then, who makes content every now and then, at least twice a week. At least I'm trying to, man. I'm trying. Life's difficult. But, you know, like, I'm here, and I'm just trying to find what works, and I'm just trying to have some fun on this planet. I'm trying to have a little bit of fun, and I'm trying to give you guys some fun, you know? Whether CEW brought you to the dance, whether the core reviews brought you to the dance, whether the think pieces brought you here, right? Whether you subscribed, you haven't watched a video since you subscribed, you somehow clicked on this one. You know, I hope I've brought the people who have clicked on a video. I always hope, man, that, like, whilst I hope the videos do well, I just hope that people enjoy them. I could have 10 people watch a video, but if all 10 people said, I love that video, then my job's done, you know? I don't know. I think a lot about, you know, what do I really want to get out of content creation? And whilst a bit of it is money, it's always about the passion, right? Like, I got into editing when I was young because I enjoyed editing, and that's still the case, right? Like, obviously, it gets a little bit tricky when you look at, like, the list of videos you've got to do, and there's, like, 7 there, and you're like, oh my god, okay. And they're all very much similar, and sometimes I'm like, okay, how can I reinvent the wheel and do new stuff? That's where, like, the Mr. WrestleMania video came from this year. That's where, like, my 2K videos come from, right? I just want to bring something new to the dance, and I want to just, I don't know, I want to leave the core space in a better place than when I found it, because it wasn't a really good spot, and I just want to leave this scene, this circle, right, our community, I just want to leave this community in a better place than when I first started, you know, when I found it, right? And I'll keep it real, right? Like, with how 2K is, I don't know how long I've got before I'm no longer a 2K guy, when I'm just strictly a wrestling guy, right? And I don't know what I'm gonna do at that point. But until that day, I am here every single week, and I will be giving you guys the videos that you know, and I'll be giving you guys the videos that you aren't expecting, and the videos you didn't even want, right? Like, I did the quizzes, nobody really seemed to like them, so they're kind of getting scrapped, right? You know, there's no point wasting an upload slot on those when we could use that slot for much bigger things, right? And I do want to do bigger projects. I really do. I just have nothing in mind. Like, I want to do the rebuilding Ring of Honor thing, but I don't know if that's better as a live stream or if that's better as like a series. I want to do members only content just in case any of you do decide to ever become members, right? You know, like, again, it's not needed at all, but if any of you ever do, I will greatly appreciate it, right? Like, you know, I want to make sure that there's content there ready, but I don't know what to do. Maybe I give you the tips of the trade that I know from running a core show. I don't know. But I think getting a little bit sentimental here, you know, this year has been nuts. Obviously we still have December. Oh my god, the end of your awards show. Oh no, I've got so much to do, man. I've got to win the X Factor tournament yet. I've got to, well, that ends at X Factor, which will be probably like end of January, early February. I've got to do Chaos Reigns before X Factor, so that's kind of putting me on a little bit of a timer. I've got Open Challenge Night 16, which hopefully should be out already by the time this podcast is out. Yeah, I've got so many projects that I want to do. And maybe the end of your award show is going to take a little bit of a different turn this year. I don't know. Maybe we simplify it a little bit. Just because I enjoy making them, but Jesus Christ, it takes a lot of time. And I don't know how much time I'm going to have to get that out before X Factor. So, we'll see, right? I'm rambling about things here, but I think that's kind of what you guys expect from the podcast at this point, right? You expect me to just ramble and just say random shit. But yeah, no. if you stayed till the end, if you stayed for the full, probably like, I don't even know how short this is going to be when it's edited down. But if you stayed for the full thing, I appreciate you guys, absolutely. And yeah, you know, thanks for watching. Thanks for being part of a hell of a year, man. Here's to more, man. Here's to locking it even harder in 2025. Let's go. We're going even further, man. We're not done yet. No. We have only just begun, and I can't wait. But yeah, no, thank you all for watching, and yeah, see ya.